Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011, you are checking out a new episode of the RCWR show. We are on the eve of our 12th anniversary. You heard me right, our 12th anniversary show, which is going to be going down next Monday. I'm pretty excited for that. I lost track of what episode this is. I believe at this point, this is episode number 1059. You're checking out for November 20th, 2023, as the week of Thanksgiving, Black Friday sales, and all of that good stuff is here. Sound off. Let me know what your Thanksgiving plans are. Are you going to be celebrating yet? What are you doing? I know for out here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, a lot of people have decided that they were just going to take it easy and they were not going to travel this year. Now, that doesn't mean that they're just going to be staying at home. For all we know, they could be going over to a friend's house. They could be maybe having Thanksgiving at their house, and they're inviting people to come over to their house to eat and everything. But for the DMV area, a lot of people are not traveling, although millions and millions of people are expected to travel this holiday season. The numbers are going to be bigger than what went down last year. I think one projection I heard was probably is going to be up compared to last year. It's probably going to go up by about 20, maybe almost 25%. We shall see. As far as how I'm going to be doing it this Thanksgiving holiday, last year I actually was given a invitation. Me and the missus, we were given an invitation by our best friend to come on over. And it's funny how all that had went down, because last year I had got a slice of my friend's mom's pumpkin pie, and I just was like, oh man, this is so damn good. Like man, this was made with some soul, with love and soul. Oh, I'm tasting it, I'm feeling it. Ooh, hey, like what's going on here, right? And basically the invitation was given, hey, if you like that, feel free to come on over next year. And it was pretty much, yeah, definitely gonna do that. So we are expected to make an appearance this year. Definitely do not want to disappoint. So, but yeah, gonna be taking it easy this holiday season, because last year me and the wifey cooked. We did about 50% a piece of the cooking. This year we pretty much decided, yeah, don't want to be bothered with that. Hey, it went down. It's official. It is official. The fifth man for Team Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, I'm missing a guy in there, Seth Rollins, the fifth guy. It is official. After a 18-month hiatus, can you believe that? A 18-month hiatus. The Viper, the Apex Predator, for sure a future WWE Hall of Famer, the Grand Slam champion himself, Randy Orton, is going to make his triumphant return to the WWE at this Saturday night's Survivor Series War Games. I am so legit ecstatic. I am to the moon and back over the fact that Randy Orton is finally going to be coming back. Legit, I have missed that man. I have legit missed that man. I know many of you guys out there have missed him as well. This has been a long time coming. We have heard the rumblings within recent weeks, honestly, going back to almost 3 months, that Randy Orton had been seen at the Performance Center, and he was getting some workouts in there here and there. You know, you were hearing a lot of those kind of reports, so you're having that in the back of your mind going, okay, all right, well, if Randy Orton's at the Performance Center, then it's just a matter of time when we're going to be seeing this man. I thought for sure, I'll be honest, keeping it 100 with you guys, I was under the impression that at this point, maybe Randy Orton would not resurface until Royal Rumble season. I thought for sure maybe WWE was going to hold off until then, but no, they have decided, nah, you know what, Chicago, we got something really, really special for you. I know a lot of you guys are going, CM Punk. I know you guys are going in that direction. I don't know. I don't know just yet. For me, I've gotten to a point in my life where, as far as expectations go, I set the bar to a certain standard. That way, when the disappointment comes in, I can go, hey, I can go, hey, it's all good, because it's not like I set the bar extremely high and all that, right? So I don't know, y'all. I think for a lot of you guys that's going CM Punk. Look, we shall know when it's all said and done. That much is certain. We will know whether or not there's going to be a CM Punk appearance. We've seen his social media game as of late, been trolling the hell out of the fans. That is the one thing that CM Punk is a social media god at, is working the fans. So we shall see what's going to be going down this Saturday. But I just, at this point, I just kind of... Two things can be said that's true. You've heard me say on this show a couple of weeks ago, anything can and will happen, especially in the crazy world of professional wrestling. Anything can and will happen, right? It's not just WWE, but just in general, anything can and will happen. And the other thing is, right, it's kind of one of those expect the unexpected, but also at the same time, it's don't get your expectations up too high, that way you don't have to worry about disappointment, right? That's where I'm at right now. I know we've got this show tonight, but we'll get into predictions and all that for Survivor Series on the Wednesday show. But yeah, after an 18-month hiatus, Randy Orton has been announced to make his return at Survivor Series War Games. He's going to be teaming up with those men I mentioned earlier in Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. He'll be joining forces with them as they'll be taking on a bad hombre of teams that we got going on there on the other side for Survivor Series War Games. That War Games match alone, by the way, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see how all that is gonna go down. Seriously, man. Of course, I'm talking about how they're gonna be taking on the Judgment Days, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dirty, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough. Also, Drew McIntyre. It's going to be a men's War Games match. Now, something else that was addressed tonight, which we'll talk about in a hot little bit, is Drew McIntyre. What's going on here? Has he aligned himself with Judgment Day to the point he is the newest member for that respected stable and everything, right? He actually opened up the show for tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw, but Randy Orton, I mean, come on. Before I go any further, Randy Orton. Can I just say it one more time? Randy Orton is coming back. I'm so damn excited Randy Orton is coming back, man. I mean, I've missed those RKOs from out of nowhere. And it just seems like within the last 3 years, we have seen probably the most translucent, most carefree, most jubilant Randy Orton in like his entire career. Here's a guy that's just going out there having fun, trying to make people laugh and everything. And isn't it amazing? I mean, when you really stop and think about this, and I really sincerely mean this, stop and think about this for a second in regards to Randy Orton.
Randy Orton's been gone almost 18 months. Do you realize, if you're Randy Orton, even if you've been keeping up on what's been going on from afar because a friend's maybe been calling you, texting you, or y'all been talking remotely while playing online video games together, you realize the last time Randy Orton was actually in the WWE on a regular basis, Vince McMahon still owned the company? He was running creative in the whole 9 yards. I mean, really stop and think about that. Now we've got Randy Orton returning. Vince McMahon is no longer in power, as Randy Orton has a new boss, which is Ari Emanuel, okay? WWE is now owned by essentially the UFC to create TKO, right? We've got Triple H now, who is at the helm for creative. I mean, this is just, I mean, when you really take a step back and you just think about how long Orton has been gone, right? And then the Paul Levesque regime, just all the big gangster powerhouse moves that they have been doing, right? I mean, they've been selling out shows left and right, and even those shows that have not been sold out, pretty damn close to being sold out. They've been doing big moves overseas. Just, I mean, y'all know about the moves that they've been making, but just think about it from the Randy Orton perspective, as far as how long this man's been gone and what all has transpired since this man has been gone, okay? We have seen a lot. Those of us that have watched the career of Randy Orton, we have seen a lot go down in this man's career. And just when we've gotten to a point where it's, well, you know what, we've seen just about all that we, could possibly see from Randy Orton and everything, like, what more is there to tell? We had got that new little wrinkle where this is something else to think about. When Randy Orton does come back, man, look at some of the people that are no longer there in the WWE. And at the very top of that list is Matt Riddle. He is coming back. Remember what Randy Orton had said in numerous interviews, which was, some of his most favorite work and best times that he has had in the company in all the years that he's been there, working with Riddle is like number one for him, because it's on a whole new other level and everything. And now you're taking that away and all the changes that's transpired, which we just highlighted. This creates a whole new window of opportunity. This creates definitely a whole new chapter for Randy Orton. There's reason to be excited when it's all said and done. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with Randy Orton this go round in the company as the 43-year-old makes his return this weekend. I can't wait to see how it all goes down. Seriously, it's a lot to think about. It really is a lot to think about, but I'm excited. I can't wait to see how that all is going to transpire. I know that he's been posting little videos here and there on social media and all of that. I sadly have not been following him like that on social media, right down to the point I don't know what's going on with him these days as far as physical stature, how he's looking. So I want to be surprised, much like everybody else that hasn't gone out of their way to see what's going on with the man on social media and everything. I just want to kick on back when Survivor Series comes, and I want to watch it in real time. I want to experience the Viper's return, much like with everybody else, and see how all that freaking transpires. Hang on a second here. Let me just check on something. I want to just make sure. Yeah, we're good. I was just making sure that the stream health was on point and everything. And yeah, we're good. We're definitely good. So Drew McIntyre opening up tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre having a lot of explaining to do. Not that he needed to explain his actions to anyone, because honestly he didn't. But Drew McIntyre pretty much told the WWE Universe pretty much, he pulled an edge moment here on them, because this was a case where he goes, you think you know me. You think you know me, but you don't know me. Clearly, you don't know me. Honestly, what should have been playing in the background while Drew McIntyre was talking to the WWE Universe was Simply Red's "If You Don't Know Me By Now," right? Or Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes, "If You Don't Know Me By Now," right? I don't know, whatever your preference is, but those were two damn good songs, and Simply Red did a very nice rendition, right? They did a nice revamp version of it. But Drew McIntyre telling the WWE Universe, obviously by now you clearly do not know him, as he asked a question to the WWE fans: has he joined the Judgment Day? And based off of the mixed reactions from the crowd, majority of the crowd felt that he did in fact join the Judgment Day. And he said no, he has not joined the Judgment Day. However, he will be teaming up with them at War Games this weekend. And one of the main reasons why he decided he wanted to do this is because Rhea Ripley created a unique opportunity for him. She did something that no one else, not even Adam Pearce, was able to do, which is get Jey Uso inside of a steel cage. So apparently Drew McIntyre has been wanting to get his hands on Jey Uso for quite some time, and he's now going to get it at Survivor Series in War Games. And he promised that he was going to drop Jey Uso between now and then. Each time he saw him, Jey Uso comes on now, he's ready to throw it down. Drew welcomes him into the ring. All of a sudden, Judgment Day is right behind him. They're ready to throw it down, but Drew is saying to them, no, all of y'all stand down. I want this man one-on-one. Soon we see Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, rest of the guys come out there, joining forces there with Jey Uso. This had forced Adam Pearce to come out and say, enough of all of this. Seriously, this is all going to go down obviously this weekend, but got to take care of business. Two matters to discuss. One, Team Cody, you guys still need a fifth member, which we just talked about. They pretty much had until the end of the night to name their fifth member. Also, they needed to decide who was going to go between both respected teams. They needed to decide who was going to represent their team tonight to go in a one-on-one match where there would be a team advantage for War Games. So I love the way this was essentially laid out in the first 15 minutes of the show. Hook, line, sinker, right? As I would always say on the show repeatedly, what is that carrot that you are going to dangle over the head of the fans to make them want to stick around for your show? And I loved how they opened up with a pretty good, strong opening act when it was all said and done. Now, as far as the two men that would go in, pretty much representing opposite teams there for War Games this weekend, we would see in that War Games Advantage match, Dre. I'm thinking about Dr. Dre for some reason. You guys got to forgive me. Drew McIntyre. You know why I was probably thinking about Dr. Dre? Because there's a new Snoop Dogg commercial that is running around where Snoop Dogg talks about how pretty much all these years we've heard him smoking, blazing, and all that other good stuff. Pretty much he's done with that, as apparently he's moved on to another form of smoking. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta look the commercial up. It is some of the most hilarious stuff. Seriously, it's very hilarious. Shout out to Ice-T, because that's how I actually ended up seeing it. I saw it on Ice-T's respected timeline on X. Drew McIntyre taking on Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre picking up the win right here. A lot of people were a bit surprised at the fact that Drew had won this. No, I thought this should have gone down the way it should have gone down, because you've got this whole new element that's in the air where Drew McIntyre is putting his differences to the side, no matter how he may personally feel about Judgment Day and all that. He's messing with them just long enough so that he can get his hands on Jey Uso at War Games. You kind of want to put the heels in a position where it seems as though they do have the advantage and everything, but at the same time, the way that it was balanced out by revealing that Randy Orton was the one that's going to fill out the 5th spot for Team Cody. You could make an argument that it could have gone either way and everything, but the fact that Drew McIntyre picked up the win right here, no, I think this was perfectly balanced out the way that they did it. So no issues with that whatsoever. Some other drama that went down on tonight's Monday Night Raw: Nia Jax taking on Raquel Rodriguez. Nia Jax picking up the win. A little bit of a squash match there when it was all said and done. From there, next up, Becky Lynch taking on Xia Li. Becky Lynch picking up the win. Not a bad match, actually. These girls went almost 15 minutes long. Almost 15 minutes long. I was quite impressed. It's interesting, too, because there's a article that's running around. I wish I could give respected credit where credit is due, but apparently Triple H, supposedly, it's been rattling him big time in the head what's been going on with the portrayal of Japanese and Mexican wrestlers in the WWE. The fact that over the years there's been some pretty big names that WWE has been able to acquire, and everything has just been coming up so flat for these international superstars in the WWE realm. It's been nerve-wracking, and Triple H apparently has been trying to change that narrative and everything. That's why you've been paying attention to what's been happening with Shinsuke Nakamura, with Asuka, with Io Sky, and now we've got Kairi Sane returning. But then, wait, look at what's been happening with Xia Li over the course of these past couple of weeks. It's pretty obvious that Triple H, Paul Levesque, has this pet project of his right now where he's trying to have these international stars take them to another level and everything, present them the way that they really should be presented and everything. And I think that is a great, ambitious project. If that report is true, that this is something that's pretty much near and dear to Triple H, and he wants to change that current narrative that's out there and everything, then I can't help but say, hey man, best of luck to you. And honestly, with what we've been seeing of Nakamura so far, there is great hope. If you are a fan of what was going on with Asuka, right, you're definitely Io Sky. It's been a little bit flat, but now that we've got Kairi Sane back into the mix of things, that should put in there a new jolt for Damage Control and all of that, right? So, just have that going in the back of your head in regards to that report and everything. But we had segued to that because of the match between Becky Lynch, Xia Li. This is a case right here where we had constantly for several weeks seen Xia Li jumping people left and right. Girl coming out there with such a damn mean streak and everything, finally starts jumping on Becky Lynch, and eventually, right, these girls settle their differences in the ring, or at least Becky Lynch thinks that maybe she has settled her differences here in the ring with Xia Li. This was a nice, hard-hitting match. I love the fact that Becky Lynch gave a lot. She gave a lot in this match to make Xia Li look pretty damn good, I've got to say. Becky Lynch's celebration was very short-lived. As I was just talking about Damage Control, they all showed up, made their way down to the ring, but Charlotte Flair was right there to intercept. Everybody just brawling out and everything. Security had to come in there, separate them and all. Ludwig Kaiser taking on Johnny Gargano. Kaiser wanted to do this matchup by himself. He did not want for Giovanni Vinci to be at ringside. He wanted to prove to himself that he could take care of an annoying little mosquito that is Johnny Gargano all by himself. Well, Giovanni Vinci, he did come out there. Now, I don't know if he had attacked, because I remember at one point I took a very important phone call. I'm not sure if he came out there and attacked. I don't believe he did. I know there was a little bit of arguing that was going on between Kaiser and Vinci, but when it was all said and done, that pretty much was enough of a distraction for Johnny Gargano to pick up the win. Bit short, 10 minutes, but you know what? Boys went out there, made their point, did everything that they needed to do. Obviously, we catch up with Kaiser and Vinci backstage later on in the night. They're arguing. Kaiser doesn't appreciate that Vinci was out there. Gunther overhears, and actually he gives Vinci props for trying to take the initiative and everything, and to the point it had Gunther rethinking whether or not he has the right person in charge. So, meantime, his message to Kaiser: watch him this weekend as he takes care of business with The Miz. Speaking of Miz, there was I guess you could call it a Miz TV segment or whatnot. Miz, it's interesting. It's obvious how the WWE wants us to look at this match. It's obvious how they've now painted Miz, or they're trying to paint Miz as a babyface. They're trying to put this narrative out there that we need to be rooting for the Miz and everything. And Gunther is just obviously the bad guy and everything. Right down to the point, they made sure that Miz put over names of former Intercontinental champions such as Shawn Michaels, Macho Man, Randy Savage, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, Bret Hart, right? They were very, very keen in the fine detail to make sure that they highlighted those names for Miz to say and everything. Which was, that was kind of cute, how they did that one and everything. Gunther still running the gambit of dialogue that he's been putting out there these past couple of weeks with The Miz, which is, look, I don't respect you, right? So we've pretty much seen the same regurgitated stuff. There was nothing new this go round. Fans chanting USA for no freaking reason. I thought that was pretty hilarious, especially when Gunther came right back on them, called them weak, simpletons, insecure, and little, just like The Miz. Right? I love how he spun that back on them and everything. Eventually, these guys had brawled out and everything. Miz was able to connect with a skull-crushing finale. Could that be a taste of things to come at Survivor Series? We shall wait and see. See how that all goes down. Continuing on, some other action that came from tonight's WWE RAW here. We talked about Ludwig Kaiser and Johnny Gargano. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae teamed up to take on Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Also, Maxine and Ivy Now, and Natalia and Tegan Knox. This was a, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 four-way tag match. Try to crown new number one contenders to take on Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. The team of Tegan Knox and Natalia picked it up. Appreciate the little bit of effort that all the women had put into this one, especially with the short little bit of time that they were given. It was really hard to enjoy this match too, because when you really stop and think about it, this was about a 9 to 10 minute match, but when you factor in a commercial, that kind of hurt it a bit. I personally feel, really wish we would have gotten this match in its entirety in one sitting to really be able to, nice little average match though, all said and done. Nice little average match. Just seeing here what else had went down. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Chad Gable. Nakamura picking up the win here. I'm very curious to see. This was a fun match, by the way, but I'm very curious to see where we're going here with Nakamura. Is Nakamura, all the stuff that he's been saying these past couple of weeks in his cryptic messages about, hey, not done, or what all that little rhetoric that he's been saying. You kind of get the impression that he's teasing the fact that he is still keeping tabs on Seth Rollins, and that him and Rollins are not done just yet. And I can't tell you how many people are still salty over the fact that Nakamura is not the World Heavyweight Champion. There are people even to this day. I saw some of the comments on social media the past couple of days, pretty fired up. Even as recent as when that report came about Triple H and the way he's trying to go about presenting Japanese and Mexican international stars. I even saw comments from people saying, look, this whole rhetoric would be squashed right now if Nakamura was made the World Heavyweight Champion already. It's a good point. It's a damn good point. There's no denying that whatsoever. Great formula that they had for tonight's WWE RAW. It was pretty much a simple formula, which was, okay, you know what? Let's create buzz. Let's create hype. Let's create excitement going into Survivor Series, from the War Games advantage to, okay, who's going to be the fifth member, to rounding about, okay, who's going to take on Piper Niven and Chelsea Green for their respected tag team titles and everything. Nia Jax was out there. Nia Jax had a match. I can't believe I almost drew a blank on that. It was a squash match, but it was oh my god, I gotta get the censor button ready here, because what I saw tonight from Nia Jax, and I've pretty much been in this honeymoon period when it comes to Nia Jax and everything, and even I will jump out there and I will say what I had saw tonight with Nia Jax, that was a big old cluster. Okay, that's what it was that I had saw. Was not a fan of that whatsoever. I honestly felt that since Nia Jax has been back so far, that was her worst effort. That was her worst outing. Some people may hear that and they may go, I'm not shocked, right? But no, like, she's been, I will say, competent since she's been back this go round. There's been some questionable moves that she's done where she could have significantly injured herself or her opponent. Shout out to Stevie Richards, who highlighted on some of those points a couple of weeks back. But putting that to the side, the announcement that Randy Orton is making his return, of which I eagerly was anticipating, they've created a great build-up for Survivor Series this weekend. Looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do, but definitely one of the better go-home editions of Monday Night Raw I have seen in quite some time. Definitely a thumbs up from my respected end. I don't have a poll up asking you guys what did you think about tonight's WWE Raw, but you can always leave a comment or two all throughout social media, including on YouTube, definitely on the X. Let me know what you guys think. By the way, for you WWE gamers out there, in case you don't know by now, if you have not been playing WWE Supercard within the past several weeks, couple of months, hey, it happens to the best of us. We go away for a little bit, right? We go play some other game or we get preoccupied with something else. Season 10 has recently dropped. Massive overhaul of an update. You really owe it to yourselves to download the update, go in, check out the game. They've got a new campaign mode where they make it fairly easy for you to acquire new cards, as they've released 4 new tiers. They did a hard reset with Season 10. A hard reset. What do I mean by that when I say a hard reset? Basically, all the cards that you have accumulated over the years leading up to Season 10, and like I think, what was it? Pantheon was the last tier before the update where they rolled out 4 new tiers, and those 4 new tiers is Noir, Crucible, Detention, and Tempest. Those are your new 4 tiers. With the introduction of season 10 and everything, the number stats have, you can almost make an argument, essentially resetted, right? It's been reset. So like your Pantheon cards, for example, those bad boys, you do it right, you pro your cards, you're probably looking at about maybe, anywhere from 350 million to 390 million or whatever. But now you don't see that million part on your cards. They've really simplified the heck out of it. It feels like, you'll know what I'm talking about when you start playing the game. It feels like a hard reset that they've done with the introduction of season 10. And I know right now, going back to that campaign mode, if you are one of 1,000 lucky people that are able to finish the campaign mode, you'll be able to get a Crucible Razor Ramon card. Oh, and it looks pretty. It looks so freaking pretty. There's a couple of bugs that's in there in the game right now. I know they just wrapped up, what was it? Road to Glory, where you had Adam Chase U. He was up for grabs. But the first couple of modes for that Road to Glory, pretty easy. But once you got to the detention tier, that's when it was just super hard. It's crazy. Even when you tried going into King of the Ring, I went into King of the Ring mode earlier tonight. I actually made it all the way to the finals with essentially a detention deck per se, really leaning more towards a Tempest deck. I would say Tempest Plus deck. But I have a couple of detention cards in there, a couple of Noir cards in there as well. I was able to make it to the finals. But the person I had went up against, it was a clean sweep. You'd be surprised how many people have spent X amount of money. There's some serious whales out there. You'd be surprised how many people have spent significant amounts of money to buy packages left and right so they can pro their cards and everything. But I've had a lot of fun playing season 10 so far, so definitely go in there when you guys get a chance, play around with it. You'll definitely thank me later. But they've done some great massive updates. I love it. I actually love it so far. So look here, since last I was on the air with you guys, by the way, for those of you that's a little bit curious what the Survivor Series card is looking like, again, we'll get into predictions on the Wednesday show. But the Survivor Series card right now, we've got Carlito taking on Santos Escobar, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shotzi, Becky Lynch taking on Damage Control's Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, Kairi Sane. That's going to be a women's War Games match. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes, Seth frickin' Rollins, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and a returning Randy Orton will face the Judgment Day men's War Games match. Rhea Ripley defends her Women's World Championship against Zoe Stark. Meanwhile, Gunther defends his Intercontinental title against The Miz. WWE continuing to have a simple formula when it comes to their premium live events, keeping it short, sweet, simple, doing these 5 matches, not making it be a case where you got to stay glued in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, and then wait a minute, there's going to also be a 3-hour press conference as well, and and all that lovely. I like that they're keeping it short and sweet. I also appreciate the fact that they're doing this on a Saturday instead of a Sunday, because as we all know, once we're done with the Thanksgiving holiday break, Black Friday sales, all that good stuff, usually most people, they are away for an extended period of time with the Thanksgiving holiday. Most people are not back in town until maybe Monday or maybe it's a case of Tuesday that they're back. You know, it's really interesting what's going on there. It's really interesting what's going on there. As far as super chats go, I have that disabled right now. But if you want to, you know, show your support and be like, you know, hey man, just want to send a little something your way, want to send a little love your way. I tell you what you can do is, and I'm not going to broadcast it. Hang on here. Yeah, forgive me a second here, but I'm seeing the chats as it's coming in. There we go. I'm trying to straighten it up here. That's actually a lot better. I'm straightening things up on the back end here. Yeah, so essentially what happened was the YouTube, they updated things as far as their monetization setup goes and all that. It was really, really weird, but long story short, YouTube had said, hey, we found some content on your channel that does not meet certain parameters, and it's like, what are you talking about? They basically had tried to say that some of the content that was on the YouTube channel, that essentially it was reused work, not original work. And for the love of me, I remember I was going back and forth with customer support for about a half hour trying to explain to them about the channel, about the content that's uploaded, and everything fell on deaf ears. So monetization is actually disabled right now. That's not my choice. That's actually YouTube being difficult. They disabled it. You know, they were like, hey, you can try reapplying once you've met this condition and you've met that condition and you've met this condition, but you can still go on ahead and upload content. And it's like, okay, cool. I told the wife, I said this to her straight up. I said, well, you know what? I'm thankful for the fact that I did not try to make YouTube be, because I know some people do this. They try to make YouTube be their full-time 9-to-5 gig. And look, more power to people that's able to have YouTube and then they're able to do it like that. But I mean, could you just imagine your man being in that position? And then it's like to get that bad news about freaking, you know, and look, more power about demonetization. The volume's kind of loud. Let me turn that down a little bit. Sorry about that. Let me turn that down. Let me know if that's a little bit better for you guys. All right, so I'm going to post something in the chat for those of you that maybe want to send something via PayPal. Boom, there you go. I just sent the email. So in the chat. So if you guys want to, you know, show love, you can do it that way. And the best part, 100% of that money that you want to kick in, that will go to me. That will not be split with YouTube, which is something else that I can't stand, that I think is so disgusting, because it's bad enough when YouTube content creators, they do have monetization on, but whatever they're doing, YouTube is getting like 30 or 40% of that. And then on top of that, if somebody wants to put in something for a super chat, you would think, well, 100% of super chats, that's all going to the content creator. No, like YouTube, last I heard, YouTube was taking some of the super chat as well. So it's like, well, damn, you know, what the hell kind of messed up practice is that? Like, seriously. Anyway, let's keep rocking and rolling. We got a couple of more things that we can get into here on the show. We just went over the Survivor Series card, right? I just told you guys what was going on with their Survivor Series card. Couple of little news tidbits, wrestling non-wrestling related, that we can get into. Some fun stuff too, by the way. I saw this online and it gave me a chuckle, but I'm not sure how many of you guys are aware of this, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his 7 Bucks production company, along with the production team over at Vice, apparently they're going to be teaming up to do some type of a docu-series on the mysterious demise of WCW. I hope I just made some of you guys chuckle there, because there's a key word in there where you're just going, wait, what? Okay. And for me, in case you guys, like, it went over your head, that key word is mysterious. There's nothing mysterious about the demise of WCW. I mean, it's freaking well documented and everything. Okay. To the point, Eric Bischoff has endorsed this book. You name it, everybody has endorsed this book. Nitro. If you want to know the whole history about Nitro and everything as far as its demise, there's nothing mysterious. There's nothing taboo. There's nothing, right? Pick up the Nitro book. Guy Evans is the one that had wrote it. Now, I will let you in on a little bit of a secret. And I hate talking bad. You know me, guys. You know, as somebody that is a bit of an older cat, you know, if I got issues, I like to do that behind closed doors and do it, you know, on a person to person, you know, directly, on a direct basis. But I gotta keep it real with you guys, because I don't want anybody to be in this position that I was in, okay? So I had ordered the Nitro book a couple of months back on Amazon. I actually got that book in a timely manner. I was able to get that book, I would say, about 4 days after I had put in the order, again, on Amazon. Now, I ended up ordering the book again as recent as about, I would say, 3 weeks ago. I had no idea, though, that I had already ordered the book. That's the messed up part, right? So this go around, I got an email. I'll tell you how I ended up getting the second book. I get an email from Guy Evans, because, you know, once you buy a book from Guy Evans, you're automatically put on the subscriber newsletter or whatever. And Guy Evans is basically, you know, hey, you can get Nitro hardcover. You can get it on sale for $40 or $25. There's some sale that was going on. So I said, oh, hardcover. Okay, cool. There was also some sales going on where you could get the book signed and all that. So I ended up going directly to Guy Evans' site, and I decided, okay, let me buy a hardcover copy. Here we are, as of, I think, this Friday, it'll be a month. I still have not received my hardcover. I had even, during that whole period, reached out to Guy Evans, sent the email saying, hey, I ordered this book on, and here we are, like, what's going on? Nothing. So keep that in mind. I would say to you guys, look, if you can help it, do not buy direct from the Guy Evans website. Instead, buy the books on Amazon, because it seems that whatever working relationship they have with Amazon is essentially fulfilling the shipping orders and all that. See what happens when you order with Amazon. But I tell you this, man, if I ever do buy another Guy Evans book, unless I know definitively that no, Amazon, you've got nothing to worry about, Amazon is going to hook you up, then I will definitely just stick with Amazon. But you guys have been warned. I'll keep you all posted. I spent like about, I think, almost $40 on that hardcover. So, and like I said, turns out I already have the book. The only reason why I know I have the book is because I was messing around. I got a lot of stuff. You can see in the back, obviously, there's like a lot of stuff, but what you don't see is I've got 8x10s that are still in envelopes. I've got books that are still in shrink wrap and all that. I don't know what I have. And I was on Amazon one day and something just said, oh, check to see what all you've ordered in 2023. I know some of you guys that got Amazon, you do that too. You like, what all have I gotten in 2023? And then you go, damn, I bought way too much stuff on Amazon this year, right? And that's how I happened to see that, oh snap, I already got the Nitro book. But pick up the Nitro book, or hell, I would say if it's available it is available on Kindle. But what I was about to say was, I'm not sure if it's available for Apple devices, Apple and Android, iOS and Android devices. But if it is, and you don't care about a physical copy, go in that respected direction, and you guys will be good. Shout out to Dill Diddy with the $10 support. I appreciate that. He said, just showing some love, keep pushing forward personally and professionally. Hey, Diddy, thank you for those kind words, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you. Much love. I hope you've been well. Hope the family's been well as well. And you're calling it a night. You have a great night too, my friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support as always. Anybody else that wants to do like Diddy, and you want to send in a little, gratitude of thanks. Like I said, unfortunately, the YouTube monetization, that's disabled. But if you look in the chat, you'll see my PayPal email. You can, and the best part, 100% of that goes right to me. Whereas when we had it through Super Chats, unfortunately, YouTube was taking a cut. So, sad but true. We were talking about Nitro, right? Here's something else. Shout out for you ECW fans that's out there. You'll love this. Apparently, there's an ECW docuseries that's being shopped around. Shout out to Mike Johnson and them over at PW Insider that picked up on this story. There's a potential docuseries based in part on Todd Gordon's memoir that's being shopped around to a potential broadcast and streaming service. And so far as platforms go that they might pick it up, there's a chance. Prime Video and Warner Brothers Discovery, so Max. Now, right now, there's no word on how far along the project stands beyond the pitch stage, except that as of now, there's no word that any filming has been done. And this is all based on Gordon's book, Todd is God, the authorized story of how I created Extreme Championship Wrestling, that was released earlier this year. I gotta check that book out. I still got a little bit of time to put some stuff on my Christmas list. I gotta definitely, I keep meaning to pick that book up. That's another one of those, get to it already, damn, like what are you waiting for? So I'm keeping it nice and conservative for Christmas. I've already given my family some ideas on what I want. I remember just the other day, I wanted to watch an episode of All in the Family. That's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time from yesteryear. Love that freaking series. And nowadays it's becoming more and more scarce to see episodes of All in the Family, especially the original cuts, right? The original cuts, because some of that stuff, as we all know, with some episodes of All in the Family, there was some pretty serious conversations being had on that show, right? There was some serious acting that was going on, and in today's current climate, a lot of those episodes would be heavily edited and all that. So I wanted to really appreciate those episodes the way I remembered them when I was growing up and everything. So I ended up putting that and the Martin Lawrence TV series, Martin. I ended up putting that on the Christmas list and blasting the family. I didn't even say anything. I just put those two joints on the Christmas list, and that pretty much was it and everything. So we'll see. We'll see if I get the hookup in regards to those this year and everything. But this would be interesting as far as if this series gets picked up. Now I can let you guys in on a little something, right? I've been learning a lot about this in my story and concept class. Which is the way Hollywood works. Whenever you're trying to pitch a TV show or a movie, docuseries or whatever, there is like this one-page sheet paradigm. And basically, you've got, understand it from this standpoint, Hollywood goes through so many scripts on a daily basis that you got to have something that is very eye-catching and, okay, you know what, this piques my interest. You know, okay, I want to know a little bit more about this, right? And so first impressions mean everything, especially when these Hollywood cats are going through a whole bunch of stacks of papers, again, on a daily basis. So what essentially, the way they do it in Hollywood, there is a one-sheet paradigm, per se, that's created, where you've got the title of whatever project, right? Whatever the working title is for your TV show or your film, okay? And then you have the log line. The log line, that's usually something that is catchy. You know, it's not exactly, it's not the title, right? I don't want people to get confused. It's not the title. The log line is essentially capturing and embodying what your story is about in general, and you got to make your point in about 30 characters or less, something like that, 30 words or less, something like that, right? And then you go into, you know, the character, you know, what it's about, you know, your protagonist, right? Then you give like a brief synopsis, right? This is all one page. And that's pretty much your hook, line, and sinker. That is like your pitch, right? Give me your best pitch. And if you can make it past that one sheet, then obviously, right, somebody will get in contact with you and, you know, maybe they want a meeting and learn a little bit more. How far along have you come in your script? How much of it do you have filled out? Or is it already filled out? Okay, can we read it? All that other good stuff. So I would imagine that what they have essentially done with this ECW docuseries, I would imagine what they've done so far is they've essentially been shopping around that one-page paradigm. Right? So kind of keep that in mind. But again, nothing has been filmed yet. Nothing, right? No funding, nothing yet. I would imagine that if everything goes right and they're able to find somebody that's interested in taking the project on and everything, maybe around the same time next year is when this may drop. Maybe a little bit sooner. We shall wait and see. Also, while we're talking about projects, Nicholas Hoult, shout out to him, looks like he's going to be landing the role of Lex Luthor in the new Superman Legacy movie that's going to be written and directed by Guardians of the Galaxies and Suicide Gun's James Gunn. Now that name should sound familiar to you guys because he had played Hank McCoy in X-Men's First Class, going all the way up to Dark Phoenix. He was also in 2023's Renfield with Nicolas Cage, as you guys recall. So, you know, I think he'll, you know, I see a lot of people are kind of going, you know, I think we can all be in agreement. And the reason why a lot of people are going, like the number one thing that's being said about him in the role of Lex Luthor right now is he's too young. And I can kind of go in that respected direction, but the way I would counter that is we'll look at the phenomenal job that Michael Rosenbaum did when he was Lex Luthor on Smallville, right? So I would say, look, you know, let's just pump the brakes and take it easy here. Like, and here's something else that we should strongly consider as well. His Lex Luthor, he's a pretty well-rounded actor. I think the young man is going to crush it. I think he's going to do a superb job, a better job than what our boy had did as Lex Luthor in freaking Man of Steel. What's his name? God, I've blocked his name out. Now, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. He was trying too damn hard to almost be the late Heath Ledger's Joker in my personal opinion. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't remember his name right now. If somebody wants to put his name in the chat real quick, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But I think our boy here, I think he'll do a much better job tackling Lex Luthor than that guy. Seriously. Speaking of Lex Luthor, I finally had a chance. I might have mentioned this on last week's show. If I did, forgive me. But I finally got a chance to check out Lois and Superman, the series on the CW. Gotta say, I'm kicking myself in the behind now going, man, I wish I would have watched this show a lot sooner. It's sad that the show got picked up for one more season, and it's going to be its final season, and that's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, with what's currently going on with the whole new reimagining of the DC universe and all that, I get it, but it still sucks because this series is actually pretty good. I came in on the last 2 episodes of the 3rd season, where, speaking of Lex Luthor, where Michael Cudlitz debuted his version of Lex Luthor. I love it. I freaking love that version of Lex Luthor. The way they just explained how the Lex Luthor character went away for 20 years for a crime that he did not commit. And he essentially spent all this time in jail with such hatred, such disdain. And turns out he was telling the truth, because eventually evidence had came to light, and that's how Lex Luthor had went free. Because that's probably something that was very glaring and alarming for people that were watching this particular series, which is, how can you have this be following Superman and we never acknowledge Lex Luthor? Well, there's a reason for that, and you know, they finally had acknowledged it and everything. What's been happening with Lex, the Lex character, after all these years. And when Lex comes out, I mean, he's got the whole bald head. I mean, he looks like something from Sons of Anarchy when he gets out. Okay, I mean, this guy's just hell-bent, like a mofo, on getting the big payback and everything. And they did a great interpretation of I can't remember the guy's name from 2.5 Men, but the one that eventually had became Lex Luthor in the Arrowverse world and all that. I feel like Cryer, is his last name Cryer? You know, I thought his Lex Luthor was kind of interesting. Not my favorite, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Not enough for me to put him on the list, I personally feel. Definitely better than the Superman versus Batman Dawn of Justice, whatever that dude's name is. Definitely better than that. But, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what Nicholas can do in the role of Lex Luthor, and you know, let's take it from there. For those of you keeping track, Superman Legacy, that is not supposed to be coming out until July 11th of 2025. Again, 2025. Also, something that's floating around on the web right now, we got our first still shot of Eddie Murphy making his return as Axel Foley in the new Netflix original movie Beverly Hills Cop, and it looks pretty badass. It's just a still image, but it's enough to whet your appetite, and you go, okay, you know what? It looks like they're going in the right direction. Looks like they're really taking their time. You hear the casting. We got Joseph. Hang on here. I'll tell you in a second here. All right, this is cast, because I like the guy from Third Rock from the Sun, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's in it. Kevin Bacon, who's playing the main antagonist, he's gonna be in it. So I mean, it sounds pretty good. When you look at the still shot, you go, okay, this looks pretty promising. Okay, let's see what happens here, right? So Eddie Murphy's been on a pretty good streak as of late. I know that Coming to America 2, that was met with mixed reactions and all that. It was definitely enough to, you know what, let's see what's going on with this, just to say, hey, I saw it, right? But he can't deny he's been on a bit of a hot streak these past couple of years, ever since he did the whole Dolomite movie, right? So, matter of fact, doesn't he have a holiday movie? Yeah, he's got a Amazon original movie that's going to be dropping, I think, in the next week or two. It's a Christmas movie. Looks pretty interesting. I might watch it just to, give you guys a review, let you all know if that's something you should go out of your way and check out, for those of you that maybe want to switch it up on the holiday movies this year and everything. Nikita Lyons, that girl's been injured since January of this year, and we pretty much have not heard a peep as far as what is going on, with a recovery and all that. Well, she did reveal on social media, because a fan had checked in on her and asked her, hey, how you doing with your recovery? When are we going to see you back? Are you ever going to come back? And she said that she'll be back soon. So she left it right there. Again, we have not seen this girl since January, and let's not forget that it might have been January, but before that, she was out for a few months. So, I've seen some of her stuff on social media and everything. Homegirl is still doing her dance videos and all of that good stuff. This is a case right here where, remember the advice I had put out there several months ago about Nia Jax right before she got fired from WWE? And I was saying, hey, if Nia is really serious about her health, nobody's dare saying, and I made sure I stated for the record, I said, look, as a person that loves his women thick, that loves big girls, hey, I'm not going to tell somebody, right, but all that work that you're doing in that ring, that takes a significant toll on the knees. There is a reason why, as far as the number, top 3, 4, 5 injuries goes, there's a reason why knees is on that list for professional wrestlers and everything. And my whole argument was, look, for more longevity, for better flexibility, mobility, Nia should strongly consider losing, just a little bit of weight, just to take, some of that pressure off of those legs and everything, right? And, we saw that, seeming as though Nia, was trying to lose the weight. She did lose a little bit of the weight. And eventually some of it kind of came back and everything. Nikita Lyons, I've been watching her since her time in WOW Women of Wrestling. And believe it or not, she's gotten thicker since that time period in Women of Wrestling. She's now filling out into her woman body, right? She's getting that woman body on. Whereas when we saw her in Women of Wrestling, it was a young girl body, right? It was a teenage body, but now she's getting into her woman body and everything, and we see as a result of that she's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And my concern has to do, once again, with the legs. It's all about the leg strength and everything. If she's going to continue to do the spinning kicks and all of that stuff, then she definitely is going to have to do some serious work on those legs. She's definitely going to have to, hit the weights, work out those muscles extremely well when it comes to her legs and everything. And I have a feeling, I'm kind of knocking on wood, hoping that that's what she's been doing all of this time. And I just can't help but have caution, because we've seen this girl have 2 critical injuries concerning the leg area since she's been with WWE. And it's just one of those, man, heaven forbid she has another injury. Then if you're WWE, you're just going, okay, look, there's a lot of time that's expired here because of XYZ, right? We've seen them be that type of company. Well, they'll wait they'll wait until somebody is nice and healthy and fully recovered so that they can go earn a living on the independents, and then they go, okay, let's just go ahead and release them from their contract, right? We've seen them do that before. Is that something that is going to be on the cards for this new era in the WWE under new management, new ownership? We'll wait and see. But I really hope, if she hasn't already, I hope she's been working out more on those legs and everything. I don't even think it's a situation as far as losing weight goes, right? We know that as far as, she's got a nice waist and just, thick behind, thick thighs, thick legs. Maybe if she just hits the weights for just the lower part of her body, because the upper part is fine. Maybe if she just makes sure that she's hitting the weights, really putting a lot of strength in those legs, then maybe she'll be good to go. Only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out and everything. Other than that, just trying to think as far as some other stuff that's transpired since last I was on the air with you guys. Really nothing else. I know there's a lot of AEW news that's out there. By the way, shout out to you guys that had checked out the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view post show. I had fun doing that. That was nice, being able to do that over the weekend. We did that, and we came on at a decent time too, because I remember we came on just a minute or two after midnight, so that was good. I see that as far as the reactions go to the pay-per-view event, the overall consensus, much how I had went into it on the pay-per-view post show, the general consensus online is right around there, hitting a lot of the same points that I had mentioned and everything. So same wave, same brain wave pattern and all of that. Kind of interesting. By the way, for those of you that might be a little bit curious, one more time, final results for that poll, asking you guys, what did you think about Full Gear? If you bear with me a second, I can actually tell you. I'm looking at X right now to see what the final results are. 14% of you gave Full Gear a thumbs down. 19% of you are staying in the middle, while 66% of you gave Full Gear a thumbs up. Appreciate you guys that have voted via X. And then let's see what happened with you guys that voted via YouTube on the communities tab here. All right, we got it loading up. Let's see what you guys said. We got a tie at 21% for thumbs up and staying in the middle, while 58% of you gave Full Gear a thumbs up. So appreciate you guys that sounded off. Got some more movie news for you guys too. I meant to mention this while we were talking about all the other stuff from earlier, but it looks like Universal Studios, they're jumping back on the bandwagon as far as re-entering the world of Jason Bourne. They are going to be making a new Jason Bourne movie. Variety is reporting that the studio right now is in early development on a new film in the series with Edward Berger in talks to direct. Berger, that name might sound familiar to you guys, but he had earned a lot of recognition for his adaptation of All Quiet on the Western Front, which had won 4 Academy Awards, and it was nominated for another 5, including Best Picture. And the report by Variety makes it clear that the film is still in early development and there's no script or writer attached at this time. No word as far as original cast members may return or if it's going to feature entirely new characters. Remember, Matt Damon has starred in the first 3 films in the franchise, and then the 5th, Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, he was in the 4th one, which was The Bourne Legacy as Aaron Cross. So we'll have to, it's another one of those wait and see, how that plays. But the fact that they're talking about it, it's in the development stages. I hope Matt Damon comes back. I'd love to see him come back one more time, and let's see what the man can do. I would definitely love to see him come back. So Jeremy Renner did a pretty good job too, for what it was worth. I don't know about you guys, but I thought he did a pretty good job for what it was worth. See, other than that, I think that's it. We're at about an hour and 15. I'm looking at the recorder here on the mixer. I've got about an hour 15. Let's go ahead and call it, right? I don't want to keep going too much longer. I did take some sleep aid earlier. So last thing I want to do is be on the air damn near falling asleep on you guys. I don't want to be doing that. It's okay to have some nights be like this where, we can just keep it short and sweet and roll out. Oh, by the way, another thing as far as movies and all that goes, Creed 4 is already in the works. Creed 4 is already in the works. Michael B. Jordan will be directing again. He will be getting back into the director's chair yet again. Deadline is reporting that producer Aaron Winkler revealed the news at their Contenders Film Los Angeles event over the weekend. And he confirmed that Jordan will be back to star as Adonis Creed and will also direct as well. So that's pretty badass. That is pretty badass. Winkler was quoted saying, "We are planning to do Creed 4 right now. We have a really good story and a really good plot. We got a little delayed because of the strikes, but about a year from now, we're going into pre-production." So I have not seen Creed 3 yet. Last I had saw, it is available to watch for free if you are a Amazon Prime member. So all you got to do is just launch Prime Video, and they've got the first 3 Rocky movies that you can watch for free if you're a Prime member. Creed 3, last I saw. I don't know about the other Creeds. I'll have to check and let you guys know. I will definitely be able to tell you by Wednesday. But I know as far as Rocky 4 goes, Rocky 4 Drago, that's behind a paywall, and rightfully so, because what they're trying to do is get people to check out the new version, the one that Stallone recently went into the studio and he was editing, and there's like a definitive version now. I think it's got like 15 to 25 more minutes of additional footage or whatever. They're trying to get people to check that out. So that's kind of understandable that Rocky 4 would be behind a paywall, whereas the other ones you'd be able to still access. So yeah, it's all good. All right, let's go ahead and end it. So your next edition of the RCWR show going to be coming at you guys on Wednesday night, November 22nd, 2023. We'll talk some AEW Fallout from Dynamite. We'll also go over some AEW news, some interesting stuff that's going on with MJF. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more information. I know it's in the open right now. It's a little bit more clearer, but this whole tournament they're getting ready to do, where they're getting ready to crown a new champion, like 3 titles is going to go to one man, I think it is, how it's set up or whatever. I need time to really sit down and process everything that's going on with that. We'll also go over some Survivor Series predictions as well. Going to be a nice, well-rounded show that we got planned for you guys. In the meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. When you guys get a chance, just use the keywords, the RCWR show. Get at me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. YouTube, Facebook, use the keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe, most importantly, be kind to one another. See you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.